the generation that is in early adulthood now is in some senses very extreme when it comes to sex and substances and so on. The following generation will be a little bit more subdued. They will be more open. Yes, they will take things a little bit less seriously. Hello, and we say a fantastic day to you at this moment of your time. How can we be of assistance?
Hello again. I wanted to ask about relationships, but in particular, how we have no instruction in how to do relationships, so that each person seems to make the same mistakes or similar mistakes in our society. And I certainly found my first relationships, I made mistakes I don't make now. I've got much better now. And my parenting, I was making mistakes that I don't make now. I know what to do now. So what is it that in our society we do not have education or instruction in relationships?
Well, you do have instruction and education. It's simply just not very good. Because you learn from how your parents raise you and what they teach you and what your school system teaches you. And it is often fraught with fear and many other complications, control, etc. So, in the sense as you unlearn those negative beliefs and you learn different ways of relating, you can instruct those to come how to do things in much healthier, clearer, and more love-based ways.
Yeah, I just wish I had known from the start in the first relationships what I know now. It seems unfair.
Well, in some senses, you could say that, but that's not an accurate statement. It's simply the time and space that you've chosen to incarnate into for the particular growth that you as a soul wish to experience this time round. And those who come after you will be able to have some of these lessons far easier. That's all.
But thinking of the young people today, I mean, I'm not sure that the internet age has improved how people have relationships. I have a feeling that in some ways it's even worse today.
Let's backtrack 1 second and say some benefit of more tribal societies would be the sense of togetherness, that sense that all people belong to that same group consciousness, which is not as present today in a globalized world. Some tribes had varying levels of forgiveness and inclusion, and of course, certain things became taboo that were not taboo before. Anyway, proceeding on, yes, in this time there are absolutely pros and cons to what is taking place now in your world. Overall, the benefit is that the more access to information allows for the newer generations to have a broader spectrum of knowledge, have more ideas, be more open-minded in many senses. Some of the pitfalls, however, are that people get hooked from an earlier age into repetitive patterns, into externalizing their consciousness into devices and the internet and so on. Yet, ultimately, this is more the result of bad parenting than anything else. For parents have the ability to regulate how much access their children have to the devices and what they use them for. And many who choose to not engage their children as fully as they ought to give too much freedom to their children. And this causes issues. Not necessarily too much freedom of choice in terms of how to wear, what to dress, where to go, what to study. Those things are great as they support children in becoming inclined to know what excites them and choose to do it. It programs them in a sense to naturally follow the formula. But too much freedom to do pleasure-seeking activities on the device can lead children to early brain burnout, dopamine exhaustion, and so on.
I feel that relationships in particular are suffering from the gadgets.
This is true.
So the world...
But again, it isn't the gadgets, it's the way they are used. It's that people often use the idea of social media and the idea of distraction on different apps and gaming as a way to source their pleasure and enjoyment at the expense of choosing other activities. You can use the same phone to stay in touch with loved ones, or you can use the phone to mindlessly scroll. It's up to you. You have the technology, but what do you choose to do?
But that's where, I mean, I'm talking about the instruction, the lack of instruction in relationships, and how certainly I saw destruction of relationships that was unnecessary through my own ignorance and the ignorance of those I was with.
Yes.
And I mean, there's been so much change. In my day, it was still marriage is for life. These days, young people feel that sex is not special in that way. But for us, it was amazing, even though if you would take a camera, look at it, you think, well, no, that's not amazing. It was our anticipation made it amazing, made it like, oh my God. So all this has changed.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have anything more to say about how it is today?
These are all belief systems. The belief system that you must wait before having sex, the belief system that relationships must last for this amount of time or that amount of time. In our world, none of this matters. We have many different relationships, same-sex relationships, whatever. Bisexual, trisexual, it doesn't matter. Relationships can end or they can continue. We can engage in ways that give us pleasure or choose not to, because we have no insistence on outcomes. We let things free flow, and your world is moving into that direction. So we would say be open to all of the ideas about relationship and sexuality and gender. Let them be fluid, let them be open. Let people express themselves as they feel. Now, of course, with that comes the idea of letting other people have their own beliefs about others. That even includes letting other people have their beliefs that cause them to judge others. It has nothing to do with you. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, take space from their judgment. To judge judgment is to practice the same vibration of rigidity, to practice the same vibration of hatred. And it makes no sense. To really let others be free is to let them be free in all regards. And this is actually the expression of unconditional love that will lead you towards your evolution.
Okay, thanks. So you said that each generation is generally improving over time. What were the main improvements in relationships in my era and in the present day era? What are the main improvements in relationships that you can observe?
Relationships have come to be, in your generation, a bit more balanced between the genders, allowing for women to have more autonomy. It wasn't always that way, but over time it came to be so, that women were seen less as property and more as individual beings, because in prior generations there was so much restriction on women, and yes, indeed, women were seen as property to be controlled.
Yes.
And now women were given more of a freedom. In the generations following, this balance came to express itself more depending on, of course, the culture and the beliefs of individuals. And the following steps in current generations is to be more inclined to these ideas of open relationships, of not necessarily needing to define the relationship right away, to allow for more of a sense of non-attachment in accepting that perhaps you will be together for the amount of time that you will be together, not longer, not shorter, to open to the idea that each partner might have other lovers and might have needs that one person cannot fully meet. These give individuals more freedom to explore who they are, to express who they are, and it also allows for a greater level of love to be expressed. For when you don't try to control others, you're really saying to them, I want you to do what's best for you. I want you to be happy. And that is a higher expression of love, a more unconditional expression of love than the idea that to love each other is to possess each other, to own each other, and control each other's actions. There is much fear in that description of love that you are gradually moving beyond.
Okay, and what about the future? What about babies born today or very young children today? As you look in the timelines that are likely, what do you see that will come next in our proficiency in relationships?
Future generations will be, in many ways, far more casual about many things. They will have a more casual attitude towards sex, whereas the generation that is in early adulthood now is, in some senses, very extreme when it comes to sex and substances and so on. The following generation will be a little bit more subdued. They will be more open. Yes, they will take things a little bit less seriously. There will be those who are not parented well and were given free range to use devices all day, every day, that might find themselves very disassociated in their adult lives and not necessarily grounded in this reality. But those who are raised well will lead a culture that is very much calmer, more nonchalant, very open to many ideas without such an urgency to meet needs, because they will be in many senses more grounded and more practical than the prior generation.
Okay, that's great. Have you any final comments?
No.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Thank you for telling us all this.
All right, thanks to you as well.
On the spaceship of Babel, we are gliding through the stars on a 5-year mission beyond Jupiter and Mars. A celestial encounter on a future Noah's Ark, and you won't hear us coming as we whisper in the dark. There's an Ewok close behind me as we try to disembark here. Obi-Wan Kenobi as we whisper in the dark. Whisper in the dark.